Hello again.
Hello.
So we got disconnected earlier, but where we were was I was saying all careers and almost everything that you do in life, you end up in a place where you think you may be not treated fairly or you're doing your very best and it doesn't turn out as you'd like. There's a more rounded expectation. Like it's not driven entirely by your performance on the job and you've got to manage the people around you. So that's what I was saying. But that brings me to a very interesting question about your second career. So you retired at the age of 50?
51.
51?
52.
52, yes, sorry, Mama was 50. So you retired at the age of 52 and you started a second career, which was entirely performance driven on the markets. So do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Station Stadtstaat, Busanschluss nach Bürgenstock um 17.
About how you.
Prochaine next door,
Let's finish.
Stadtstaat. Unser Schiff gleich anschließend zurück nach Luzern mit halt beiden Stationen Kirchlichtendorf, Hertenstein, Verkehrshaus der Schweiz, Lido, Luzern. Nächste Halt, Station Stadtstaat.
Right. So, do you want to talk a little bit about how you ended up in that career and how do you feel it compares to your career in the army in terms of whether it was satisfying or not or how demanding it was, or it obviously had very different kinds of demands on your time and your energy. So, just whatever you'd like to share about it.
You know, as I went through my paces in the army, I was always keen to quit after 20 years. But circumstances kept building up in such a way that I could never achieve or rather get out at the time I really did want to. And this was partly because of various courses I did in the army and the medical condition of BG, the court cases that Boji was fighting out, and the fact that both of them were living all alone in Delhi with practically no help. It necessitated for me to try and get a posting to Delhi. So I was posted to Gwalior in 1986 December. By 89, BG had become a fully diagnosed case of Alzheimer's. Boji had a problem with his Vasant Vihar house, with the tenants troubling him and he not being able to get them vacated. So I made efforts to get myself posted to Delhi so that I could look after both of them and take care of BG's medical condition and assist Boji in his legal fights. Unfortunately, the army refused to post me to Delhi. Now, since they did not post me to Delhi, one option was to apply for study leave,
Right.
do some study, and come to Delhi on that excuse.
Right.
Well, that is what then I decided to do. I applied for 2 years study leave to do a course in system analysis. Well, the leave was sanctioned. The leave was sanctioned. And before that, in 1989, when I was still trying out postings and all that, and I found that I was not being successful. So I said, well, I can't come to Delhi, but there is nothing to stop me from shifting all of you to Delhi.
Right.
So I told Sunana to move over to Delhi with all three of you. In that way, she would be able to look after BG Boji also and still they'll have assistants.
Right.
1990, I thought of the study leave, and luckily the study leave was sanctioned this time. Now, having got the study leave, once I came to Delhi looking for admission, I found system analysis was a course being offered by NIIT. Now, NIIT I consider to be a sort of a computer education shop rather than an institute. They were charging money.
Elitist Indians.
They were charging money like mad and doing only 2 hours of classes 3 times a week, and rest of the week you are free. So I said, what is the use of this? And somebody suggested to me, I forget now who, कि now that you come on study leave, why don't you actually do some useful study? So with that, again, I said, that's a good suggestion. So I applied for admission in MTech in IIT Delhi in management and systems.
Slightly
Luckily-
different from system analysis. I don't know what that means though.
Huh?
I was saying slightly different from system analysis.
It's totally different from system analysis. Then, luckily, I was granted the admission by the IIT. Now the question came ki, since I'd been sanctioned leave for system analysis, getting permission to do MTech in management systems was a big obstacle. And it was known in army circles that once leave is sanctioned for a particular subject, they don't permit a change in subject under any circumstances. All the same, I did put up an application to our military training directorate. Okay, look, I came on study leave. I have got admission in this. I should be granted a change of subject. As expected, my request was turned down. Subject cannot be changed. Then I was stuck. What to do now? Obviously, I have always had the option to get back into an IIT. And here I just appeared in the admission, nothing else. I had not made any payments, etc. But still, I thought ki getting a MTech from IIT Delhi, I'd been wanting to do it ever since 73.
Really? Why is
Yes.
that? I didn't know that.
I'll tell you that. When I was posted to Kanpur, we were married in 72. We were posted to Kanpur in May 73. So I wanted to do MTech
Oh, at IIT Kanpur.
at IIT Kanpur.
Okay.
Sunana said, what will I do? You will keep studying and I'll be getting bored. So she thought of doing B.Ed. Now, as luck would have it, she got admitted in B.Ed and I did not get A, admission, B, permission to do MTech. My unit in Kanpur had lots of administrative problems and my army bosses said, sorry, you got to sort out those problems. You cannot be given permission. So that hidden desire was always there somehow. I lost out on an opportunity to do MTech in IIT Delhi. Then when I got posted to Bombay, I appeared for doing MBA from Jamnalal Bajaj Institute.
Yeah, I have some vague recollection of that.
I got admission there too.
Right.
And having got admission, I was not granted the permission by army.
That's a bummer.
Sorry, you can't do it. So I missed out that too. So with those two opportunities coming and yet I not being able to do that,
Right.
I had some desire somewhere that that I must do it. Now to try and get some method of achieving that, I went to IIT Delhi. I sought their syllabus for MTech.
Right. I can sense troll.
So when I saw the syllabus, I found there were many courses to be done. And one of those courses was system analysis. Now that fitted into my scheme of things perfectly. I applied to the military training directorate once again.
Right.
I said, look, you granted me study leave to do a course in system analysis. In the same period, without asking you for any additional time, if I study 10 more subjects in addition to system analysis, what does the army lose? So I gave him those list of 11 courses to be done, or 12 courses to be done, because it was system analysis plus 11 more.
Okay.
So I gave him that list, and I said, see, system analysis there. In addition, I'm studying 11 more courses. And luckily for me, somebody in the army headquarters thought, okay, well, it's a valid point. If in his own time he is doing more study,
What's the harm?
what is the harm?
Right.
So they granted me that permission. And that is how I landed up at IIT Delhi.
But how did we get to IIT Delhi? We were talking about how you started your second career.
So having done this MTech in Delhi, management and systems, I did a thesis work on personal investment planning.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
And in that, I studied everything about various kinds of investments, what are the returns you generate on those different types of investments. Then I did some research on the equity market. What if I had invested money in top 100 companies of Bombay Stock Exchange? What kind of returns would have been generated over a period of 10 years? So with those kind of studies, I got involved in the subject. I got interested in it. And luckily, 94, I was posted to Delhi in the army headquarters. I had a coursemate of mine, those days a brigadier, CM Logani. God bless his soul. He passed away a few years back. A good person. So, in the lunch break in Sena Bhavan, we used to have our lunch and then go for a walk around the Sena Bhavan after lunch.
And
We used to keep talking and discussing about various things. So one of the things was, hey, look, this is my last posting. The day I get my posting order,
right.
I will quit the army.
Right.
And that decision was taken primarily because of Vishal. We'd moved far too many stations, and he was not getting an opportunity to go to any school now. So I wanted we should be able to do something to settle him somewhere.
Yeah.
That was one. And second was BG Boji were old.
नहीं बीजी नहीं थे.
हो गया BG had gone.
BG.
Boji was there. Boji was there. So we had to look after Boji. So I said, the moment they post me out of Delhi, I will quit. And that's exactly what I did. Within 2-3 days of my getting the posting order out of Delhi, I put in my request for retirement, an early retirement. And after I put in the request, the government of India increased the retirement ages by 2 years. So I could have continued for another 2 years
Station
if I had not retired.
Dorf.
Yeah.
But I said, decision taken is taken. I will quit. So I did. Now, as I was telling you with Logani, we used to keep walking. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to pick up a job. I said, if I pick up a job somewhere, yes, it will get me money, it will keep me busy. But it doesn't help Vishal in any way. So I wanted to start something of my own in which I could get Vishal involved and keep him busy. That was my intention.
Right.
So I discussed my plans with Logani. Say, look, I've done MTech now. I've done this sort of study. I've done some research on the stock market also. And I want to take up the business of a sub-broker as a, in the stock market. So, wise man that he was, he dissuaded me from doing this business.
Okay.
He said it's a very risky business, don't do it. But I had no other knowledge. Not that I had knowledge in this also, but this at least I studied the subject and I thought I'd be able to convert that study into practical work also.
Right.
So eventually I started this. To begin with, I just, while I was posting in Delhi, if you remember, we had sold our Vasant Vihar house and that had given us a reasonable sum of money. So I started managing that money on behalf of body.
Right.
And in that effort to manage the money, I got into, I developed relationships with people in the financial fields. And we did a lot of investments through Escort Securities Limited and
Right.
Escort Finance. And in Escort Finance, to begin with, we went into bill discounting and bill rediscounting.
I remember that was the first piece of work I did, selling bill rediscounting schemes.
So that bill rediscounting scheme was something very nice. It gave us good profits. It brought me close to the MD of the Escorts Finance.
What was his name?
I forget his name.
I remember Ashok Agarwal. I forget his boss's name.
I forget.
Anyways, go on.
So I was in close contact with them.
Yeah.
And then I decided that they set up a company known as Escort Securities. So I was called for the inauguration of that company. And once that was there, then this Ashok Agarwal, his colleague Mukul Harmilapi, and one more. So they came to our house, they spoke to body, they started investing in the equity market. So I got interested, started going there. Initially, without any paperwork, I used to get orders from my friends, execute them on Escort Securities thing, and take my commissions out of it. I found the work was good, but since I was all alone, it meant a lot of hard work, a lot of time was spent. So my day used to start in the morning at 6:30, go on till 12 o'clock in the night. And those days there was a lot of paperwork.
I remember that because you didn't have anyone to help you and you roped me in.
So, no, more than you. It was Sunana who
Sunaina
helped
as
me
well.
out.
Yeah.
She started doing a lot of work for me. By that time, gradually, Vishal also started picking up. Then there was one of the employees of Escorts left Escorts and went to some other broker. And meanwhile, the financial controller of Escort Securities became very fussy. You can't do work without margins. I had no money to invest in that margins. So I was finding it difficult to work in Escort Securities. So I went along with that employee to
VAG.
No, not VAG. VAG was when I was still in Ganganagar. To a company called International Securities Limited. And this was owned by R.P. Gupta, who was a very close personal friend of the famous Harshad Mehta. So Harshad Mehta used to come quite often to R.P. Gupta's office, and I've met Harshad Mehta number of times.
So have I. They had their office on, what is that road called? Tilak Marg.
Yeah, in Tilak Marg.
Yeah,
Quite right.
I've met Harshad Mehta there a couple of times.
So I started working there.
That's just such a lovely scene right there. Isn't it? It's a beautiful view.
So,
Talking about scamsters and missing out on all the beauty in life. Yeah.
so after that, I found I lost a lot of money because one bad client can wipe out your 5-6 years earning.
True.
So we landed up with one such person, Khosla,
Neeraj Khosla.
Neeraj Khosla.
Yes.
He was an architect by education, but he used to spend his whole day in Escort Securities. Eventually, he was thrown out by Escort Securities. He came to International Securities, and he said, he asked me, sir, can I place an order with you? So that time there is a greed ki, oh, more clients, more orders, more money. So I said yes, but I didn't know what was his standing. I had no financial hold on him. He said he sells, buy so many shares of a particular company. I bought it. Those days we used to have a weekly settlement. Today, of course, it's a weekly settlement, daily settlement. So after he bought it, for 1 week, the share was in selling freeze every day.
Right. What share was this? Do you remember?
Not too sure. Not too sure. And in the bargain, he lost about 10 lakh rupees.
Yeah. And so did we?
Yeah, and so did we. So it was somewhere between 7 to 10. I'm not too sure the figure now. And then he came. He said, "See, I got so many FTs. I'll get these broken.
I remember he came with his father.
Eventually, he came with his father and mother. His father was a PA before retirement in the railway board. So he said, sir, even if I want to pay, I don't have so much money. How did you allow him to do this? So I said, I didn't know he is an educated man. He is an architect by profession, and he had been coming to Escorts. He was dealing with Escorts directly. And I've been watching him there also. He used to do transactions. So I took it for granted that he's got the capability and the ability to do it. And here he just done first transaction with me, and we got stuck. No, but you should have realized, you should have, such a big sum is too big a loss. So I said, he didn't know that such a situation will occur. Otherwise, I also would have been more careful. Anyway, finally, as a negotiated thing, he said, I'll give you half the payment, you pay the other half of the loss. So, it was nice of Neeraj's father to give 50% of the money.
Did you not have a signed contract with him?
Those days there was nothing known as signed contract. I mean, I had no signed contract with the Scots or with the international securities.
That's just amazing. No, I do remember those days because I was in college and I remember it used to be really tense because it took us a very long time to get to that loss.
So it was a huge big loss. And one or two such clients can wipe out your years of earning. This is one lesson I learned after this. And I became more cautious and so that is it.
KYC.
Huh?
KYC?
Yeah, KYC came in much later. Another client of this kind was Pinky Bhatia's brother, Kamal Kheda.
Kamal Kheda.
So he bought all his Taj Group people. He was in Taj Nahan. He bought all his Taj clients. But eventually he also took a position for which he never paid up.
So do you actually, if you were to look back at your life, which of the two careers would be more interesting?
I would say in retrospect, Army was a good career. I mean, and I being in EME, it was not even a risky career. For people in infantry and other arms, etc., yes. So comparatively, ours was a safer occupation. But it meant a lot of hard work, which I, for one, never minded.
So if there was something that you would have done differently, going back, what would you have done differently? Now that you actually think that that was a good career, that was a better career, but while you were living it, you always thought that you wanted to quit. Do you think that attitude impacted your happiness at the time?
Oh, it did. Because once you are unhappy in a situation, then everything that happens in that, even though it may be for your good, you take it negatively. I mean, I had a lot of problems in Gwalior.
Yeah.
With NP Singh. And yet, any outsider, if he saw NP and me interacting together in the public, would have never felt that there was anything wrong with us.
But if you were more vested in your career, if you thought it was a long-term career that you really wanted to succeed at, like, it just sounds like you were never really interested in succeeding in the army career, you just wanted to get out of there.
No, I would say I didn't want to succeed and therefore I took these attitudes.
No, the attitudes impact your engagement with your job, right?
No, so what I'm saying is, it is not because I did not want to stay in army that I picked up fights with my bosses. The fights were on matters of principle. And I fought out on principles. And I was not the one who would bow down just because my immediate superior tells me, no, you don't do this, you do that. If he is correct in his order, I'll definitely do it. But if I find that his order is illegal or it is not a justified order, I was not the one to obey it. And that is probably where I have gone or I have suffered to some extent in my army career, and which in a way also reinforced my desire to quit army. Because once you see that things are not happening the way they ought to,
right,
then you say, yes, this is not the place.
Yeah.
But I found that some of the toughest bosses, whom people regarded as very tough, and
Station Herkenstein, Schiffsverbindung nach Weggi, Spitznau Rigi, 17:43 Uhr. Next stop Herkenstein, boat connection to Weggi, Spitznau Mount Rigi at 5:43. Station Herkenstein.
So, what was I saying?
That some of the toughest bosses.
And then in fact, in 2-3 places, for example, my posting from Kota to Calcutta, I was warned by then Colonel Jhaldial, कि Mahesh, you got a very tough boss. Be careful. And I found I had the best of tenures with that man in Calcutta,
What was his name? I forget.
General M.S. Krishnamurthy.
M.S. Krishnamurthy.
And he was replaced by General Sushil Kumar,
Right.
who eventually became the DGME
Right.
and who eventually became very fond of me.
Right.
But in Calcutta, I didn't like the way Sushil Kumar functioned,
Why is that?
because, you know, in the command headquarters, we had to lay down a policy for EME within the command.
Right.
Now that policy has to be passed down to everybody
Right.
and then ensure that it is implemented as per the laid down policy. Now for that, obviously you need the guidance of some senior person. As a major, I was too junior a person to be able to think in that vast.
Yeah. Take
Outlook.
that expand. Yeah.
Yeah. So one good thing with Krishnamurthy was you put up a draft to him. He will either edit the draft, correct it and give it to you,
Right.
or he'll call you to his office. He'll explain to you, look Mahesh, this is not the way it should be. I feel you should include this.
Right.
And having got that guideline from him, you spell out that policy, it goes back to him with a few corrections here and there. He used to approve it. So things were never stuck up on his table.
Right.
It used to go within 4-5 days. A decision this way or that way was taken and the orders were issued.
Right.
With General Sushil Kumar, he was a man who believed in PR. He is the ideal man for PR.
Right.
So you send up draft to him, it will lie there for about a week, then they say, Mahesh, speak. So you go back to him, then I need do this. So you incorporate what you wanted, send it back to him again. Again it lies for about a week. Then he says, no, this is not right.
Yeah.
You do this. The third time you make an effort, you change those things. Again it lies with him for a number of days. Then he says, कुछ भी लिख के भेज दो.
तो PR वाली क्या बात हुई इसमें?
No, PR in the sense कि he was hardly in the office. That is why the files used to keep getting stuck in his office. So he was now here, now there, now here. So his interests were not in